Everything that I know of has an origin or a point of origin, a foundation, something to build on, something to look back at and know that is your home, that is where you're from. And humankind, whether we like it or not, Asian, foundational, Black American, Indian, whatever you want to say, that foundation, I truly believe, is in Africa. And I'm going to talk about some things, but Africa and the Pretendians. Let's listen to what the professor has to say. And this was given to me by Griak One, and I appreciate this because this makes a lot of people do a lot of soul searching. Why do you hate Africa so much? Why do you hate yourself so much? Oh, I forgot. You listen to the Pretendians. Let's look at what the Pretendians have done to civilization.
And imagine, you go all around the world and smash up everything that other civilizations built, loot what they built, pillage, steal, even steal their ideas and their concepts and their philosophies. And then you sit on top of this mountain of stolen goods and declare yourself to be rich because of your own merit. And imagine telling this lie to your children, to your own children, to your grandchildren, generation after generation. How do you think that's going to go? You didn't invest in creating actual merit. You cheated, you lied, you stole, you brutalized, and then you tell your own people that everyone else in the world has nothing and you have everything because of how much better you are than everyone else. How long is that lie sustainable? I mean, these are people who actually have civilizations, who actually created and built and accomplished and didn't just pillage and plunder. And there's still those people today, even though you have oppressed them, there's still those same people. And you're still the way you are. I mean, a good example actually is African Americans. I don't know if you can think of a people who were more held back, more deprived, more sabotaged than African Americans. You took everything away from them and took them away from everything. They started in your country at less than zero, literally regarded and treated as subhuman, not allowed to learn to read or write or anything for hundreds of years. But you see, they come from a people of accomplishment to one degree or another, not a people of piracy and theft and appropriation. They come from a people who created and built and developed in their own countries, in their own land. And even though you did everything that you could possibly do to suppress them, to hold them down, to hold them back, and you're still doing that until today, nevertheless, I don't think anyone can dispute the fact that African Americans have become a global cultural superpower. And people like this, with a history like this, with a legacy like this, simply cannot be held back for any length of time by a people who do not have a similar history, people who have never actually invested in their own civilizational development. And that's the West. I mean, imagine.
So, let's talk about Africa and the Pretendian. Initially, that term was used because it described people who culturally appropriated the Indian here in this country. But, as you know, even the Indian has to have a foundation. And my premise is that foundations and civilizations were built upon civilizations and foundations and civilizations were built on foundations and civilizations. And what I mean by that is the deeper you dig, the more you see dark faces. And that is what people hate. Even people that look dark or look African can't stand the word because they have been conditioned to hate themselves. Now, we have somebody who's a Pretendian and that asserts the right to speak for or represent marginalized communities. They are actually not a part of it, but what do? They commit identity fraud. They make up white supremacy rules to live by, things to govern people to keep them down and keep them up. Pretendians exaggerate, fabricate, and just outright lie about their ancestry sometimes. In a way, they do this because, and I will quote $5 Indians, as because it benefits them and their wealth. So I will pretend to be a Indian because they found oil, okay, on these lands. Not only that, most people are trying to lighten themselves so they don't have to be who they are because they know how they get treated in this country. So when those people assimilate, and that is a dangerous word, then the Pretendian culturally appropriates their identity. They take on the aspects of that culture without having to live that experience, have no connection to the community other than that they are looked at as white. And most people want to be white because they're in power. But see, Pretendians, they undermine the rights and sovereignty of legitimate indigenous communities. They take up that space and they claim that land as their own. You see, we make up all these fancy words for theft, okay? Rape, murder, and just outright, I want that. This issue they talk about of identity and a Pretendian, the black culture knows very well. They talk about having one drop of blood being black. But if everybody's from Africa, and I mean everybody, then he wasn't lying when he went back to his original home and killed his brothers and sisters. See, this whole earth is supposed to be one big human happy family. But as in most families, when the cousin that you can't trust comes by, when the uncle that steals from you, when the ones who get together in a group and say, okay, we may be a part of that family, but this is our family. This is all we're gonna be concerned with. And that's what Europeans did some time ago when they set out a plan of action to take over this world. But I'm talking about the earth right now, okay? Because I say world because a lot of times people think they're gods. The things that they do to other people, human beings, mistreating human beings. And don't think we all don't have a part in that, but not to the degree that is happening in America, in Africa. And let me tell you something. They did it in Mexico and South America and all over the globe. And we still act like we don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't want you to read and know who you really were either if I knew that basically I came from you, I stole from you, I learned everything about you, and I kept all of the artifacts, the resources, and tried to take the memories.